On this week's Rebel Report, the UNLV Rebels take on Utah State for homecoming. It's early in the season, but the Vegas Golden Knights continue to make history in the NHL. We continue our panel discussion with women in sports. We also sit down with Patrick Lindsey, director of a PGA event right here in Las Vegas. All that and more coming up next. Welcome to episode 3 of this season's Rebel Report. I'm Lupita Negrete.
And I'm Diana Zainadine. On this week's panel, Alex Wong will be leading a discussion about women in sports following Cam Newton's comments during a press conference and other pro sports controversies.
We will also be sitting down with Patrick Lindsey to talk about Shriners Hospitals for Children's Open. And stick around for this week's show, Show Me Your Skills, at the end of the show. But let's begin with UNLV football.
The Rebels may have celebrated their homecoming, but they did not celebrate a win.
Coming off a brutal loss to Air Force after leading 27-0, UNLV's football took on the Utah State Aggies on October 21st. Ariel Rodriguez breaks down the game.
UNLV had a good chance of winning its homecoming game and turning its season around with a 28-14 lead. They had it all, but things unraveled when Utah State took over with big plays on the team's defense. For the past 4 years, the Rebels have been able to win its homecoming game. This year was not the case.
We did not play a very good football game. Early on, we came out, had a pretty good plan, executed fairly well on offense. Twice we got an opportunity to be up 14. We talked to them all week about when there's a crack, you got to go ahead and bust it open. And unfortunately, we're just bad on defense.
For the first half of Saturday's game, Lexington Thomas led the Rebels with 161 rushed yards and 2 touchdowns. Armani Rogers completed 5 of 12 for 37 yards and rushed for another 75, in addition with 2 touchdowns, leaving UNLV with a 14-point lead. The turning point was when Rogers was injured on a pass attempt with just over 5 minutes left in the first half. It was all Utah State from there, with 5 unanswered touchdowns en route to winning the game 52-28. The path to the postseason is a massive challenge, but Sanchez is ready to attack it.
Now we're sitting here with another loss, and it's disappointing. You know, got a bunch of good kids in there, and we're at a low right now. So we got to figure out how to fight our way back out of this. There's a lot of accountability that needs to be addressed, and there's some areas that immediately we need to see improvement and play better in.
With Armani injured and only 5 games left this season, they will have to win at least the next 4 games to be bowl eligible. For the Rebel Report, I'm Ariel Rodriguez.
Status for the October 28th game against Fresno State is up in the air as he is in the concussion protocol.
After the Rebels face Fresno, they'll be getting visitors from the middle of the Pacific. Lupita, did you know that Las Vegas is considered the 9th island to Hawaiians?
That would make sense because we do have a big Hawaiian population here and our campus is so diverse. And we have several Hawaiian players in the UNLV football team, and Casey Carpenter helps us get to know a few of them before the Rebels take on the Warriors at Sam Boyd Stadium on November 4th.
Hey guys, I'm here at the Rebel practice field, and we're interviewing a few of the 9th Island players on the team, 2 of which, Soli Afalava and Salanoa Alo Wiley, they came from the same high school in 2015.
Number 42 is our junior defensive tackle, Salanoa Alo Wiley. He came from Kahuku High School on the North Shore side of Oahu, along with his high school teammate, Soli Afalava. From their recruitment to their college choice, they had UNLV on their minds.
It was either we go to Hawaii together or to UNLV together, and being off the island was something that we always talked about. We sent in our tape, and you know, we just wanted to stick together. We wanted to be able to go to school somewhere together, and we thought UNLV would be a good fit for us.
Number 15, sophomore linebacker Soli Afalava was recruited as a safety and has since moved to linebacker. He had several choices to make before the end of his high school season.
As we talked about it, UNLV offered us, after I think our last game of the season, offered Sala and then he offered me, and then we talked about it and came to a decision that we'll just come to UNLV and play together. It's a blessing to be here.
So how has the Ninth Island experience been for these guys thus far?
The food is somewhat the same. We have family out here that cook us dinner our freshman year when we first came, and it took away the homesickness a little bit. And just having the family out here helps us get over the homesick and let us do what we do.
We also had the pleasure of grabbing number 62, junior offensive lineman Nate Oishi. He's in his third season as a walk-on and is adding depth to the offensive line.
It was weird. I'm like one of the few Hawaii guys that don't have any family out here. But when I came out here, I met the other players from Hawaii, and then I saw the whole community was from Hawaii, and they had a lot of like similar foods and stuff. So that's when I really felt like it's the Ninth Island over here. I didn't get homesick at all.
So it's fair to say these guys are psyched up to play the University of Hawaii.
It's going to be an exciting game. Every year we challenge them. It's exciting to see my brothers that I grew up with back home play on that team. So it's nice to see them do what they do on the field and also go against them. So it's going to be a great game to play against with them.
Oh yeah, it's like my other Reno. That's definitely like my other Reno. Gotta beat Hawaii.
So it was great getting to know some of our Ninth Island players. And the good news is, we're going to have Soli and Nate back for another one of our segments called Show Me Your Skills. That's where they take us through and show us what they do on each of their positions. One will be focusing on defensive linebacker and the other one will be focusing on offensive line. Stay tuned. This is Casey Carpenter with the Rebel Report.
And Kahuku High School was just featured in Sports Illustrated for its prestigious football program and their heritage of cranking out collegiate and NFL players since 1970. What an awesome story leading up to the Rebels game against Hawaii.
The Vegas Golden Knights continue to make their mark in the NHL. The newest expansion team in the league is the first to take 7 wins in the first 8 games of the season. Haley Brooks joins us in studio with more on Knights' recent game against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Thanks, guys. Going into October 24th's game, not many thought the Vegas Golden Knights would be able to pull off a win against the Chicago Blackhawks, especially considering Vegas has some crucial injuries, including goalie Marc-Andre Fleury and now even goalie Malcolm Subban. With 2 goalies out on IR, Oscar Dansk was next in line to step into the goal. This was Dansk's first starting game of his NHL career. He was thrown into the net on October 21st's game against the Blues after Malcolm Subban was escorted off the ice with a lower body injury. Subban is expected to be out for at least 4 weeks. As for Fleury, his concussion is healing, but there is no set date as to when he will be back on the ice. Oscar Dansk did step up against the Chicago Blackhawks, making incredible saves all night long, 29 in total. Centerman Jonathan Marchessault returned strong after missing the last 3 games, also due to injury. Marchessault scored a power play goal, making it his 2nd of the season. The Blackhawks may have scored the first goal of the night in an arena filled with more Chicago fans than Vegas locals, but they did not seem to be playing at their best, with the Knights rapidly scoring and ultimately taking the game 4-2.
No, we're having a lot of fun, and things are going well for us. The team's playing hard and competing, and tonight we come into the hockey game, and a lot of people weren't expecting us to win this hockey game. Chicago's a hell of a hockey team and a great team, and we've got our minor league goaltenders up here, and it's like we talked about. It's about the next guy up and play hard and play well and do the best you can. So our team rallied tonight, and I thought we played an excellent hockey game against a real good team.
Just to play here in front of the fans in Vegas, they seem to really enjoy it, and we're enjoying it too. So just go with a smile on your face to practice in games every day. So it's living the dream pretty much.
The Golden Knights have one last home game on Friday, October 25th, before they head on the road for 9 straight games. With this winning record so early in the season, I think it may be time to start looking into some playoff tickets. Although some would argue that this team has a lot of beginner's luck. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Haley. When the Golden Knights hit the road, their first stop will be in New York to play the Islanders on Monday, October 30th, followed by the Rangers on the 31st.
The Running Rebels basketball players were eager to make their first appearance of 2017 at the Thomas & Mack Center.
Kaylee Woods has all the details on UNLV's 2017 Scarlet and Grey Showcase.
UNLV's men's and women's basketball teams gave the fans a sneak preview of the upcoming season in their annual Scarlet and Grey Showcase. The Lady Rebels kicked things off in a friendly battle of Scarlet versus Grey as the players competed against their fellow teammates. Star scorers included senior guard Kennedy Wharton on the Scarlet team and sophomore center Rajane Wade on the Grey. By the end of the 3-minute half, the Grey team established a pretty large lead and eventually went on to secure the win. Following the women's scrimmage was a small tournament to get the fans involved. The UNLV men's basketball team then took to the court for their inter-squad scrimmage, where players like freshman guard Jay Green were quick to impress the crowd. Jay Green in a foul underneath. At the showcase, the men's team also debuted their brand new uniforms in the hope that a new vibe could bring back the success of the golden age of UNLV basketball.
I just feel great. I'm just ready to get on the court and just try to bring back the legacy. Even my locker is Larry Johnson's locker, so JUCO All-America. I know they set me up with that, but I got big shoes to fill.
And living up to that legacy seems like a major possibility this season as all-star players like freshman forward Brandon McCoy showed off his skills in the showcase's dunking contest.
I'm just happy to be here. I'm blessed to be in this position. Never thought I'd be a Division I athlete. And I'm just ready to show Vegas what we're made of, because this is a great city and this is a great team.
And although the men's and women's teams rarely get to share the court in a typical season, women's basketball coach Kathy Olivier and men's coach Marvin Menzies were happy to join forces for the showcase.
Our team was very excited that the men wanted us to help out. Not even help out, but to contribute and do a little scrimmage.
We always hang out with them outside of basketball. We're really close to them outside of basketball, so to actually get on the court and get to be involved with them was really fun.
You can catch both teams in their season openers this November. Until then, for Rebel Report, I'm Kaylee Woods.
And it's really cool seeing the two teams come together to show us what we can look forward to this season. This year could be the year of the comeback. On October 18th, the Mountain West had their Men's Basketball Media Summit here in the fabulous city of Las Vegas, where 11 head coaches and 2 players from each Mountain West institution came. That's right, and the Rebel Report was there to get the details on not only our Running Rebels and their predicted placement for the season, but also the Mountain West Conference. UNLV was picked to finish 6th out of the 11 teams in the 2017-2018 Mountain West season with 1 first-place vote. The league's predicted order of finish was announced Wednesday, October 18th by Mountain West and their annual media summit, which was held at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. The Nevada Wolfpack received 19 of the possible 21st first-place votes to earn the top spot in the poll, while San Diego State received 2 first-place votes to land in the 2nd spot. Boise State was 3rd. Along with the league's season predictions being announced, the preseason all-conference team was also announced. Sadly, no Rebels were selected, but 5-star recruit forward Brandon McCoy was chosen preseason freshman of the year. Even though the Rebels just missed a spot in the top 5 of the poll, you can definitely say it's a great improvement on last season's last place finish in the Mountain West.
The conference, the media picked us, 6? Mm-hmm. So I expect to be 6. No, I think that, like every team here, we all have high expectations, right? And we all want to go out and fight and battle and compete and see where we land. So I think you know, the goal is always to compete for a regular season conference championship and then to get into the tournament and win the tournament. So those goals will be staples. Every year there'll be a boilerplate for us to want to go in and do the work to try to be able to achieve those things.
As the season is slowly creeping up, only time will tell if the Rebels will meet expectations or even exceed their 6th place ranking from Mountain West. UNLV, which opens November 11th against Florida A&M at the Thomas & Mack Center, looks to rebound from an 11-21 record, the worst in school history. The Las Vegas Tennis Opener is back for its 3rd year at the UNLV Frank and Vicky Fertitta Tennis Complex.
I interviewed men's tennis head coach Owen Hambrook about his thoughts on the complex. Here's more on the story. The Las Vegas Tennis Open returns to UNLV's Frank and Vicky Fertitta Complex for its 3rd year. The complex includes 12 tennis courts and houses the offices of men's and women's intercollegiate tennis programs.
This is the Frank and Vicky Fertitta Tennis Complex. It was built approximately maybe 20 years ago, and it's one of the best complexes in the US for college tennis. And 12 courts, great locker rooms, offices, tournament room, seating for 2,000 people. So it's a great facility, and we're very lucky to have this.
The event brings top ATP players from all over the world to compete in the $50,000 tournament. Both singles and doubles will be played. For more information on the draws and tournament, visit www.lasvegastennisopen.com. For Rebel Report, I'm Diana Zainadine.
It looks like there are a lot of exciting events to be excited for men's tennis this season.
Absolutely. Tickets can be purchased at www.unlvtickets.com or by calling 702-739-FANS.
Rebel Report, time out.
Thanks, guys. Today for our in-studio interview, we have Patrick Lindsey, Tournament Director of Shriners Hospital for Children Open. Thanks for coming, Patrick.
No, thanks for having me.
It's great. Okay, so for the tournament starts next week. So how are you guys preparing for that?
Yeah, there's a lot of activity going on right now, actually. You know, what's kind of different and unique about PGA Tour events is that, you know, every year we have to build our stadium. You know, we're not like the T-Mobile Arena or Sam Boyd's or the Thomas & Mack Center, where we have a permanent stadium that we just fill every year. We have to build our stadium based on what we sell and how our sponsorships are. So currently, there's a lot of construction going on in the golf course. Our suites on 18 Green, one of our big structures called The Hill, presented by Casamigos Tequila, is being built at the moment. So you know, there's a lot of activity.
So Shriners is an amazing organization that helps kids. So how does the tournament support them?
Yeah, you know, really, Shriners being the title sponsor of this PGA Tour event, it's all about the marketing and promotion of the event. And really, it's through the PGA Tour and their broadcast partner of the Golf Channel. Golf Channel now broadcasts in over 200 countries and territories and almost 1 billion households worldwide. So that's where the real value is of being a title sponsor of a PGA Tour event. So outside of that, you know, we work year in, year out to try to raise as much dollars for the hospital as well through hospital or through fundraising and selling of hospitality and different sponsorships. So we're really proud about that. You know, when it comes down to it, you know, we work for the hospital. We're a 22 hospital network across the United States plus Montreal and Mexico City. So, you know, we're just excited to kind of push the Shriner message out there and make sure that we're promoting their mission as much as possible.
That's nice. So you guys are celebrating your 35th consecutive year
Correct.
in Las Vegas.
Yep.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you.
So you guys have, it's not just people can go and see professional golf, but there's activities. Last year you had miniature golf. What else do you have for this year?
So we are so much more than just golf. You know, I think that's something that people forget too. They think that this event's only for the hardcore golf fan, and it's not true at all. You know, we have a lot of different things for a lot of people, whether it's a college student or a family. You know, we just have have a lot of great activities on site. So outside of the miniature golf that we have on an 18 fairway fan zone, we also have food trucks. Michelob Ultra and Casamigos and Top Golf are all sponsors in that area as well, providing different things for kind of each person. But we also have The Hill, which is a great kind of sports bar theme where we have about 24 different flat screen TVs. So we'll make sure that all the college football games are played and the NFL football games are played on Sunday. And then we have the AutoNation and BMW social media lounge on 15 Green, where you can go and get some nice BMW branded items if you show up at that venue as well. But really more than anything, it's a great golf event, and the weather is going to be like in the high 60s, so it's going to be beautiful, and it'll just be a great time to come out and just enjoy the event and enjoy some great weather.
That's great. So UNLV students, alumni, and staff, they all get free tickets. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's second year in a row that we've offered this to the students, alumni, and staff. And we're just really proud to be able to work with UNLV and be able to extend that partnership. So it's really simple, especially for a student. You have to park at Suncoast Hotel, free parking, and then there will be a free motor coach shuttle that will take you very short ride, about 5 minutes, 10 minutes max to get to the golf course. Just be prepared to bring your student ID with you. You'll show that at the gate and you'll get redeemed for a free ticket, and you'll be able to come into the event from there. But, again, it's free tickets, and it's not just for one day. You're more than welcome to come any day, Thursday through Sunday.
All right, great. And then for one last question, we have Ryan Moore, who's an alumni, who's one of the best golfers from UNLV, and Scott Piercy, who's a local native. So who else of big names will be at the tournament?
Well, outside of, just talk a little bit about the UNLV Rebel golfers. We've got Charlie Hoffman, Ryan Moore, Chad Campbell. They're all going to be in the field, and they've had such incredible careers. And Charlie just had an incredible year just this past year on the PGA Tour. And obviously our locals and Scott Piercy and Kevin Na will be here as well. So we're really thrilled to have those guys. And also we just extended a special invite to a former UNLV golfer who graduated last year. His name's AJ McInerney. And AJ has been on the web.com tour, so that's kind of like the minor leagues of golf, and he had a great year on that tour, and we were just able to extend a sponsor invite for him to come out and play. So, really would love to have as many students as possible to come out and support AJ. AJ is a local Las Vegas native, went to UNLV, and now this will be his first PGA Tour event that he plays in. So outside of kind of those local ties, Bubba Watson, which is one of the bigger names in golf, is going to be at the event this year, along with Graham McDowell, Billy Horschel, who was a FedEx Cup champion in previous years. So we're just really excited about the guys that we have coming, exposing them to the mission of the hospital, and also just exposing them to Las Vegas. They're going to have a great time.
All right. Thank you for being here. Yeah. And we're sending it off to Alex with the panel discussion.
Thanks, Michaela. So here at the Rebel Report, we have a lot of female journalists, including some that were former student athletes. And with an incident recently with Cam Newton, we're going to kind of talk about that. I'm going to toss it to Haley first to explain to us what exactly happened with him.
So Cam Newton was at a press conference, and a female reporter asked him a question about routes, like football, like routes or whatever. And he giggled, laughed in her face, and was like, oh, it's funny hearing a female talk about routes. So then everyone jumped on him for it, because it's one of those things he even you could see it on his face after he said it. He was like, I probably shouldn't have said that, but I did. So it's just one of those things. It's just do better. You should know. You're insulting women. She's a female reporter. She's a female sports reporter. She obviously knows about sports. You wouldn't laugh in the face of an obese guy asking you about how fast you run. You know what I mean? It's not. You should do better. Then his way of apologizing was, he's Cam Newton. He's a fashionista. So he wore a hat with the World War II lady on it, we are women, proud women. So it was just a really bizarre situation. It's just do better, Cam, do better.
Was that his way of apologizing? I mean, what do you think that's right? I mean,
what he did, I don't think it was right. But just Cam makes it really hard for people to like him, especially with this controversy that's been around him, especially with women. And just recently, this past press conference that he was in, he abruptly left because of the questions that he was being asked from these journalists. So it's been a lot of controversy around him and just making matters worse by making it more of a sexist thing, especially with women journalists asking these questions.
Especially with the NFL, like they should like with all the cases that come out of like domestic abuse and stuff like that, like you need to get women on your side. You know what I mean? Like don't do silly things that are going to get women and everyone else for that matter to like think of you in a certain way when the NFL is struggling to be like, no, we actually care about women, like we do.
Yeah, and Lindsey, so as a former athlete and a journalist, how does that make you feel?
Personally, I'm just surprised, like he has, like it's like as if he's never been asked about football questions from a woman before. Cause like, I mean, all of us could vouch for this in journalism classes. I think 80% of my classes, if not more, are all women. And it's definitely an industry that women are in, and people, I think, get the wrong perception of it, thinking because it's sports, women aren't in it. We love sports just as much as men, I clearly do, and I'm just a little like thrown off, like it's kind of like, yeah, what was going through his head when he said that? But yeah, women know football. They play football. I loved playing football growing up when I was little. I still like to go throw around with my Derek Carr Raiders jersey on, and
So bringing it back home, there was an incident with the Knights recently. They released a female roster on Twitter, and it was all female names. Is that wrong? Do you think it was just a joke? Is that funny? Insensitive?
Well, just to give a bit of a background on the incident, the Golden Knights were playing the Boston Bruins, and they tweeted out their starting lineup, but the starting lineup only consisted of women's names, and the joke behind it is that those women's names come from the movie Ted, where there was a scene that they were naming white trash names. So because it's from Boston and the team that they're playing is the Boston Bruins, that's why that happened, and they try to take it off as a joke, but a lot of people took it as offense, and a lot of people didn't even think it was funny.
Yeah. Did you guys find that offensive?
I mean, it takes a lot for me to like get offended, but again, it's like the same thing with Cam Newton. Just do better. Know your audience. Know that you're gonna get backlash from that. They do funny things on Twitter. Like that whole night they were tweeting like in a Boston accent, like, oh, you better get your cast on it and like stuff like that. So like they try to be funny, but that's not funny. Like I know a lot of female hockey players, so like who were like big strong girls. Like it's just just do better.
Personally, I don't think I find it offensive. But I think in this day and age, you should especially as anyone who's in social media should know, like, a lot of stuff gets taken the wrong way. It just takes one person to get offended. So let's double check this. Right. And that's probably something they should have, do better. They should have looked over it. Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks for being here, guys. I think, thank you for your input and everything. So that's all that we have for our discussion today. We're going to send it back to you guys at the desk.
Now time for one of our favorite segments in this show, Show Me Your Skills.
Our reporters, Jafar and Lupita, got a chance to be soccer players for a day. And let's just say we're happy they're sticking to reporting.
Hi guys, I'm Jafar and that's Lupita, and today we're here at Peter Johann Memorial Field to talk to some soccer stars about their skills. Ain't that right?
Yep, Sophie Cortez and Amanda Galbraith from the women's soccer team are going to show us their skills.
Let's get to it.
The trick we learned was called Around the World, which Amanda demonstrated for us. Then it was our turn. So Amanda just showed me how to do Around the World, and now I'm going to try it. Here I go. I can't. So that is my failed attempt at Around the World.
So like Amanda showed us, I'm gonna try to juggle now.
Ooh! Oh, that was close.
It's hard in jeans.
Finally, Sophie decided to join in on the fun.
My name is Sophie Cortez, and I've been playing soccer for 16 years, and I still can't juggle, and I cannot do this trick. Yeah, that's what we got.
So apparently we're not soccer players.
Nope. But if you want to see more of Sophie and Amanda's soccer skills, come to one of the women's soccer games. For the Rebel Report, I'm Lupita Negrete.
And I'm Jafar Robso.
And like Lupita said, if you want to see more soccer skills, then head on over to the next women's soccer game on October 27th against Reno. That wraps up today's show. If there is any UNLV sport you'd like to see featured on our show, tweet us at Rebel Report UNLV.
Make sure you have a happy Halloween from all of us here at Rebel Report.